That was a long part. The students roll into class for Saturday morning sessions, each and every one of them sporting the tired eyes of people that have worked through the night. With one day left to prepare, I suppose it's not surprising. Thankfully, we only have to suffer through classes until lunch break, and then our time is our own. My towel lurches in the class in a tight stagger. I suppose students are the only people here that enjoy their late Friday nights. Without saying a word, he scrawls some pages and question numbers on the board and slumps down at his desk. It's completely atypical behavior for him, but it appears that no one in the class is going to call him out on it. Wordlessly, the students shuffle their textbooks in position and get to work. Not wanting to break the trend, I do the same. Fatigue has made their class antisocial. Not a peep is heard among the ruffling papers. That can probably be attributed by the two empty seats beside me. For some reason, Misha and Shizune aren't present. Probably doing council work for the festival. It's very quiet without Misha present. I wonder if she was born as rowdy as she is, or if she's making up for Shizune the lack of voice. Nakai, can I speak to you for a moment? I'm so engrossed in thinking about Michi that I don't even notice a Matao approaching my desk. Sure, what's this about? It's probably better if we speak outside the classroom. Oh, shit. Something about this doesn't look too good, or sound too good, but I stand up following him out into the hallway. Matao stands in the hallway scratching his head as he works out what he's trying to say, not knowing what's going on. I wait silently. I heard from the school's head nurse that you had an incident the other day. So it's about that. Well, kind of, but it's not anything to be worried about. Yes, it is. Anything that can endanger your health is something to be worried about. We try our best to prepare for your life here. Part of that involves knowing your limits and how to work around them. It would be remiss of me if I didn't speak about this. Alright, I get it. I'm sorry. Mattel closes his eyes in frustration, and I realize that this probably wasn't the best thing to say. Something tells me that you're not sorry. Pretend as much as you want, but this isn't a normal school. A lot of people have to push a lot of time, effort, and money to make sure that you and every other student here can have the same level of education as your peers. For you to abuse that by throwing out advice, especially medical advice, is plain selfish. I'm not quite sure if this is actually how he feels, or if it is some act that he's practiced many times to guilt-trip students into doing the right thing. Either way, it's working. I understand. This is all new to me, and I apologize. I know my limits now, and I'll be sticking to them. Mattel appears to lighten up a little, satisfied that his message has been received. So then, on to my next question. How are you finding your studies? I understand you were laid up for a while. We're not too far ahead, are we? I don't really think so. I tried to keep up when I was in the hospital, so it doesn't appear too hard. Mattel taps his chin and raises an eyebrow as he absorbs the information. Is that so? I suppose there are still students out there that realize the importance of learning. I wouldn't go that far. I was only trying to keep myself occupied with the little life, in my little life support prison. Well, yeah, you've got to keep up those things, right? That's exactly it. One wrong move in the world and you've left behind, right? Right. Wouldn't want that to happen. No, you wouldn't. Every week there's a new scientific discovery. Most of them mean nothing to the lay person, but any other one of them could be the key to the next big thing. No, keep that in mind. As always, Mattel's serious talk is over, and he's gone back to his standard, slightly scatterbrained approach to life. I think in hindsight that I prefer him that way, or this way. He's slightly more predictable in his unpredictability. Well then, I think that's all I really had to say. Let's get him back inside, shall we? My relief at the suggestion is insurmountable. Sure, you're the boss, right? Mattel pauses for a moment. I don't think any of my students have ever said that to me before. For an instant, I consider replying to this, but something deep inside me something deep within me tells me to shut my mouth and get back into the classroom. A few of the students jump at the sound of the door, rapidly trying to pretend that they are working on a question on the board. Some don't even bother, their heads slumped on the desk getting a nap. Thankfully, it would appear that Matao does not even notice them. He returns to his desk, then retrieves a scientific journal from one of the drawers. I guess I got to him there. The class returns to the near silence that Matao and I left it in before chat. Mixed feelings of tiredness and anticipation buzz around the room. Everyone here either waiting for a chance to rest or their chance to get their last minute preparation underway. The clock at the wall slowly takes the remaining class's time away, until finally the bells cry out, ending the torment. Before you all leave, I expect you to answer for those problems by Monday. The class size is 1, suddenly regretting slacking off, but still acutely aware of the more pressing issue at hand. The classroom empties in a blink as everyone rushes to the last-minute festival preparation. I stay behind and try to quickly finish the question so I don't have to bother with it over the rest of the weekend with the festival and all tomorrow. Apart from me, Naoko is the only one left, obviously waiting for Lily. Oh, damn it. It's weird that Lily comes all the way to our classroom to pick her up. I expect that moving around is at least normally harder for her than it is for Naoko. But it's none of my business, and I naturally don't ask about it for Manako. Despite the relative proximity of our seats, neither tries to strike up a conversation about that or anything else either. So an oppressive silence falls upon the classroom. Time passes in silence. It's probably just 15 minutes or so, but it feels longer. I turn pages on my notebook, and Manako turns pages on her novel. Or the novel she's reading. My pencil led splinters against paper just when I'm about to finish a paragraph. The sound of my irritated sigh and subsequent fumbling around for a sharpener feels like they're breaking the mood in the classroom. I now keep your eye firmly away from my direction. Before long, Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. Hanako? Her name is all it takes to make Hanako jump from her desk and run to Lily. They talk quietly for a moment, but it isn't long before Lily leaves down the hall and Hanako idles back into the classroom, taking her seat once again. I watch Hanako out of the corner of my eye, out of sheer curiosity at the idea that the two would be separated. For a couple of minutes, she does nothing but sit with her chin in her hand, staring at the desk dejectedly. The boredom evidently becomes too much for her slender frame, reaching into her bag and pulling out a small book. Come to think of it, this isn't the one I saw her reading at the library. She must be quite a fast reader to get through them at this rate. After about 10 minutes of restlessness, shuffling in her seat, trying to read, Nako closes her book and leaves too. As should I, since the assignment is all but finished and there's nothing else to do in the classroom. Not that I have anything to do anywhere else either. The school is a beehive of activity, but nobody pays attention. Nobody pays me any heed. And I saunter past classrooms filled with students frantically doing this and that, buzzing around like little worker bees. You wouldn't guess the school day is over. It's a bit quieter outside, but not by much. People zip left and right, hurrying as quick as they can, busy and energetic. The feel the opposite. The midday sun seems to be draining all the spirit out of my body, making it feel limp all over. Warm, soft air flows inside my shirt, feeling like a cushion. I yawn lazily. Ugh. Thinking about what I do. I drop off my box at the dorms first, and then something I haven't decided yet. Maybe Kenji is in his room. On the way to the dorms, I spot Emmy. Coming my way, running his bike, not having those weird running prosthetics on. Wait, what? I wave at her as she skids to stop. Yo, what's Al? Spatter of white and green paint adorn her nose and chin respectively, but her smile is wide as it seems it no is. She leans closer to me, amplifying the feeling she's examining me. What you doing? Nothing really. I don't have anything to do for the festival and everyone else seems to be doing something important. That's perfect, then you can help me and Rin. With the festival preparations? I'm not sure if I'd be much of help. That's fine, I'm not much help either. Emmy grabs my wrist and starts dragging me back into the school quite forcefully. Doing her walking speed is more like jogging, making me stumble over myself simply by trying to keep up. The stairs slow Emmy down a little bit. Maybe it's harder for her to climb with her legs, or maybe she's smartly running out of breath. We go all the way back to the third floor and to the seniors hallway, ending up where I left 5 minutes ago. I just could have just waited here. Could have stayed here waiting for Emmy had I known. So is Ren working on that mural still? That's right, she needs all the paints and brushes and stuff, so I want to get them in our classroom. And you need me to help with that? Well, Rin told me you had already helped her, so I thought you wouldn't mind. I see. So thanks to Emmy's flaky logic. Here I am again, collecting stuff from the art classroom for other people. The classroom is empty apart from ourselves. The lonely specks of dust floating in the air. Emmy skips straight away to the back wall, digging out tiny clumped pieces of paper from pocket. When she tries to make sense of scrawled handwriting, I take a closer look at the materials lying around here. Dozens of paint cans and bottles are arranged on the shelves in the most unorganized fashion. Some look like they had been left here for several decades, relics of previous art club generations. Next to the heavy stacks of neatly piled drawing paper are boxes full of different sized brushes and unsorted crayons. The smell of paint, turpentine, and fresh paper float in the stale air, mixing in my nostrils to form the unmistakable scent of art. I can't. Emmy studies her notes, comparing them to the markings on the various paint cans, and passes them to me as she finds the correct matches. She stretches her neck to look up at the topmost shelf, but it's not quite enough. Her eye level stays below the shelf no matter what she does. Emmy gives up and just looks up at the shelf longingly like a child at a toy store, huffing in annoyance. After a moment of building up anger, she starts jumping up and down, apparently trying to speed read the labels during the fraction of seconds she can see them and catch what she can. It's no surprise she fails miserably and almost manages to bring the entire shelf crashing down. Now I see why lending a hand would be useful. Come on, let me do that. You can't jump high enough, and I don't want you to hurt yourself trying. Also, I'm like twice your height. Oh, damn, really? You are not. She turns around, flaring scorn, flushed cheeks and all. Just kidding. Alright, I'll look up there, okay? She glares at me one more time, but can't come up with a retort. With a judging she turns her back to me. So I begin scrounging around the top shelf for paint while below. Emmy crouches to the cabin what she can from the cupboards. I shake my head a little after double checking to ensure she can't see me do so. Emmy having complex about her height was a surprise. I wouldn't have joked about it otherwise. She seemed easygoing, but I guess everyone has their weak spots. Only after we have almost all the items collected and spread out on the desk like a treasure hunter's spoils do I realize that it wasn't necessarily the height jab that got her riled up. She might not like to be told that she can't do something like jump. But Emmy herself seems to be forgotten about it already. Quick to anger, quick to forgive. She is that type of person. At least she doesn't seem to have taken anything to heart. As she chatters away happily, while we pick up the rest of the items and then make our way back to Rin. I chivalrously carry the bulk of the materials as we make our way towards the dormitories. Rin is really stressed out about getting her painting done. It's her own fault though, she should have started earlier. Is she gonna make it? No idea. Looks good to me, but with Rin, you never know what's going on. I found her this morning, lying in front of the dorm in a fetal position. She hadn't slept all night. I can't believe that the night nurses hadn't found her. And now she's painting again like crazy. Yeah. I've noticed that she comes off as kind of unhinged, so to speak. Emmy giggles at that, as well as my likely too obvious awkwardness. I don't mind it, she's just a little weird sometimes. On that I can agree with her. Unlike me, Emmy seems to be cool with Rin's, whatever it is that feels so off about her. Still, they don't feel that close like Misha and Shizune do. With them working as a single entity sometimes, it's hard to say where one ends and the other begins. Even though they're so different, just like Emmy and Rin are. And Rin is the most different of them all. Different from anyone else I've met. Yeah, I guess she's a very unique person. I return to the word again, as if it encompasses Rin's personality by itself. But really, it's just a substitute for a lengthy description of her oddities. Emmy giggles as I grasp about for a properly descriptive word. She's just weird. You know, earlier she just spent half an hour sitting on her back, on her box, and stared at her toys. She giggles again in a way that makes me think she doesn't know what's funny about it. What's funny about it is just as all that time. The working area is a mess, but the mural itself has taken over even more of the wall since I last saw it. The disfigured human figures had been mostly colored in tones of red, pink, and orange. Weird imagery things populated in the space between. It looks nice. I can't think of any word that would describe the work concisely and comprehensively, so I settle myself to the non-descriptive nice. But honestly, it seems that the area around the wall becomes untidier at the same rate that the mural progresses. The ground is littered with dozens of paint cans, various art supplies, and empty soda bottles. Rin herself is in the center of the chaos, standing there looking very cozy as if she was a natural part of the scheme. Her paint legs have been rolled up to her knees, exposing her thin legs, which sport a drying spectrum of war painting, similar to those of Emmy's face. Emmy sprints to Rin ahead of me and gleefully jumps in front of her. I'm back! That was fast. Did you run into the corridors again? This Al helped me. Emmy pointed victoriously at me. Rin turns around, following Emmy's finger with her eyes, looking at my general direction. She nods absent-mindedly at me. She looks like she hadn't slept since last night. A vacant, glazed stare that focused slightly off me and movements like in a slow motion movie. "Oh, Sal, thank you for the help." "Don't mention it." "I just did." "Never mind. Looks like you've made progress. Looking good as far as I can tell. But now you get more bad luck." "I know, but I'm willing to take the risk." It's a very nice thing to say. For me, of course, not for you. This is why artists are always unlucky. They have to constantly look at their unfinished paintings. So artists can't find romance, their favorite TV shows are cancelled, or they die young because they are an unspecified disease. It's a deep and mysterious law of the universe. Unless they are blind. She considered this for a while, looking like she's going to fall asleep. There's a boy at the art club, you see? Blind boy, so he doesn't see. He'd become an artist. No bad luck guaranteed. Don't you think that would be a good idea? That only blind people should become artists? No, not as such. You might have a point. Abandoning this train of thought, she turns again to consider her work and starts humming a tune. I think I recognize, but can't remember the name of. I kind of wonder, how would a blind artist, what would he huh. But Emmy arranges the supplies we brought and moves a few paint cans around, trying to bring some organization to the scene. "Emmy, I need the Prussian blue paint." "Which one's Prussian blue?" She's staring helplessly at the 7 or 8 cans with a different tone of blue. "It's the one with Prussian paint in it." "Jeez, Rin, you're not helping at all." You look around as well, even though I don't know what Prussian blue looks like either. I wonder what blue has to do with Prussia. What Prussia even is. The name sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't place it. While none of the blues look like more like Prussian than the others. The small print of labels are legible enough to determine that none say anything about the contents of being Prussian. There is no Prussian blue here. We need to go get more then. I opened my mouth to say that they actually were not both needed for such a simple task, like finding another pot of Prussian blue, but Emmy already grabbed my arm and started dragging me off. I waved to Rin, who doesn't seem to notice the two of us are even leaving. Well, she'll notice when she goes for Prussian blue and finds it's still not there. Maybe. Probably not, actually. While I'm busy thinking of how weird Rin is, Emmy's been dragging me back to the art classroom. I feel myself starting to run out of breath. "What's the rush?" "Huh?" Emmy gives me an appraising look, as if she's trying to figure out something. "It's just, you just seem to be in a hurry." I'm not sure I can keep up. Comprehension dawns on her face. "You're not out of breath, are you?" There's almost an accusing playfulness to her tone. I'm tempted to deny it, but then I realize I've been breathing heavy since we stopped. Yes, it's kind of obvious. A little. Not everybody else can be in shape, you know. It takes all kinds, right? Emmy frowns. It's not a particularly good frown. That is, I should get in shape. Not that I hadn't already decided to try for that. After that flutter on the track, I figured there's a real need to get in some sort of running habit. I was, after all, feeling pretty good until I had a false alarm. Well, actually, I wasn't, but it was fun. Meanwhile, my comments seemed to have helped Emmy come to some sort of decision. "Well, that's it then." She gives me a serious look. "You're joining me." What? What? I beg your pardon? "In the mornings. You and I are now running partners. I've got a routine all planned out, in fact." She produces a crumpled sheet of paper. "I've got it right here with me." I take the sheet of paper and give it a once-over. Timed, dates, and laps all laid out. A slow increase for a few laps a day too. My god, does she expect me to have me running marathons? And where did she find the time to get this all together? And how long has she been planning this anyway? You've been planning this? A little. But it's really the nurse's idea. He told me to keep an eye on you to make sure you exercise like you told me to. A vast conspiracy? Maybe Kenji's onto something here. Kenji knows everything. This seems a bit much for just keeping an eye on me. Well, to be honest, I've been trying to find a running partner in the mornings for a while now. My god, Kenji. If you could only see the scheme unfolding. What do you need a partner for anyway? Fucking Kenji. It's easier to keep up a workout if you're not the only one doing it. Isn't that obvious? You're less likely to quit if someone else is counting on you to be there, right? That is true. And that is really true. I see. And this won't only keep you running, but it'll make sure that I keep running as well. Meaning that I'll be obeying the nurse. And I'll keep an eye on you just like you asked. You caught on quick as hell. And if I refuse, I have no intention of refusing, of course. I gotta put at least up a token resistance to such a masterfully executed plan. Well, if you refuse, I'd have to pout. And you'd have to live with that guy who made Emmy. That's like the first time I've seen the last name. And you'd have to live with being the guy who made Emmy Ibarazaki. I'm looking that up. I'm gonna look it up. I don't even care. God, I'm not even gonna take this out. I don't. Say it.
Ibarazaki.
Ibarazaki. No. Oh, I'll just say it like that for now. I mean, Ibarazaki pout. You don't want that on your conscience, do you? Just to demonstrate, Emmy begins to pout. It's the most adorable, heart-wrenching thing I've ever seen. Okay, I'll do it. Just don't do that. I feel like I just hit a puppy. So it's settled, right? You're gonna be my running partner. Follow the workout. And the dietary plan? Dietary plan? Yeah, the dietary plan. You got to eat healthy if you're gonna get in shape, you know. I examined this workout routine closely. I don't see a dietary plan on here. Oh right, I forgot to give it to you. Another crumpled up sheet of paper is produced and handed over. It's somewhat less detailed. I've had the nurse help me come up with it. The amount of dedication that the nurse has to keep me in good health is pretty overwhelming. I don't know how many school nurses would get one of their students to spy on me, much less help me come up with a dietary plan. And again, I guess I'm not in a normal school. Maybe that's not such a bad thing. And again, this dietary plan seems to cut out just about everything that'll be offered at the festival tomorrow. So, when does our running start? Yo, he eats so much during the festival, it's ridiculous. After the festival. Right after? What if I've had something to eat there? I get a stomachache, you know? I mean the day after the festival. I knew that. Wasn't there something we're supposed to be doing? Oh, I guess we should get the paint for Rin, huh? Oh no, it slipped my mind. By the time we get the paint, we get by the mural, and Rin's already wandered off. Oh well. Amy and I both decide to part ways and leaving the paint on the ground. Rin will find it whenever she comes back anyway. Festival's tomorrow. I'm actually a little excited for it. At the same time, the week's left me feeling pretty tired. So I read a little and then go to bed.